everybody, to the Next Move podcast. I'm Matthew Dick, and this is
Jennifer Bruns.
And we have Aaron.
We can't say your last name.
We can't say your last name.
Amuchastegui.
Amuchastegui, who is just a baller dude all around. And we'll get into his story here in a second. But let's start with Aaron. Many people know your name, but tell us how your story started.
I love the open-ended story questions because they go all over the place based on my mood today or based on...
Well, so I've known you for going on 3 years now because of Real Estate Rockstars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with how you got into real estate.
Yeah. So my dad was a general contractor growing up, and so I would work on his job sites. And so I remember watching my dad run his business, and then I got to be started to be a part of it through construction. And I remember as a kid always trying to give him business advice, why don't you do it like this instead? Why don't you do the bids like this instead? Why don't you do it was always when you're seeing someone else's business, you're in it, and you're I'm giving him advice. And then when I graduated from high school and it was time to go to college, he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I don't really know. And I want to do what you do, but I want to be the boss. And at that time he's like, oh, well, the architect is my boss. They're the ones that tell me what to do. So I went to school for architecture school for a couple of years, University of Oregon. And so my plan was to be an architect. When I was 20 years old, I got in a bunch of trouble. I just got in a ton of trouble, and that put me as that big setback. And during that time too, I kind of realized that maybe architecture wasn't my thing, but it was fun to get that experience. And then I got in trouble. I had a stint of a few years where I didn't get to do anything, good. And we can get into that later if you want, but I think there's plenty of stories on the internet about that. And then when it was time to go back to school, I started looking at how do I what are some other things I'm interested in. Construction management was a new degree at the time, which they take 2 years of architecture, 2 years in engineering, a year of business management to essentially how do you run a construction development company is what that was. I went to school for that. I graduated in 2005, which was
Oregon?
That was from Cal Poly, from San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
And that was the height of the housing boom. So 2005 was the best. And because I had that 3-year stint that I was gone and I was a little bit older, I was the best student in the country. So I'd won a couple national championships, and it was the time to be a home builder. So I got heavily recruited. I had all these home builders coming out saying, "Come work for me, come work for me." Mm-hmm. And so first got into that. Got to go work for a home builder. I did a couple internships with them. I was running a division right out of college, and it gave me the worst expectation of what business life was supposed to be like. Because it was I got my degree. I went to work for a developer in 2005. The houses would all be pre-sold before we could finish them. We were building houses in 60 days. We had this machine that would like and we golfed 2-3 days a week, and we were making good money. And I was like, I did it.
Just that easy.
I did it. I went to college. I got my degree. I'm home building.
Here it is.
And it worked well for a few years.
What were you doing in 2005?
Being a mom.
Being a mom?
Yeah. Taking real estate classes.
I was doing train up for Iraq and deploying to Iraq in 2005.
Yeah. Very different worlds.
Very different worlds, right? Well, that's why I'm a little older and I've been in real estate a lot longer than a lot of people. So sometimes I tell the story of 2005 and 2009, and some people are like, oh yeah. And other people are like, well, what do you mean? What was that like? Because we went from building houses every day. They were going so fast. In 2007, 2008, foreclosures started happening. Mm-hmm. And then in 2000 and middle of 2008, foreclosure catastrophe. So we had these neighborhoods in California, the homes were selling for $750,000, and then all of them got foreclosed on. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And then they started selling for $250,000. And so we still had some new homes in those areas. So then we spent the next year for the home builder I was working for, kind of doing these bank workouts and trying to make deals but nobody knew what to do. That had never happened before. The banks didn't know what to do. The builders didn't know what to do, and it was just crazy. And it was really wild to spend most of your life with this idea I was going to be a builder in some form or fashion. Yeah. And then it became obsolete. Nobody built a house in California from 2009, 2012.
Jeez.
So I grew up to be this thing. And all of a sudden what I was going to be my whole life became obsolete in an instant. Jeez. I was best degree you could get, highest ranked in the country, running these big things. And I discovered, I had to figure out what to discover. I discovered courthouse step foreclosures.
Yeah.
I think I was the first person to really do that at scale because I was young enough and dumb enough to not think about how hard it was going to be.
Yeah.
And 2009 I started reading foreclosure documents because everybody had REOs at the time. It was such a catastrophe. You drive by and it'd be REOs. Those were bank-owned foreclosures. Right. Not very many people knew there was a way before they became foreclosures there was almost like this process that was like it was like a necessity, but like it was like nobody really. Essentially, they have to go to the courthouse and say, "Hey, this house is for sale at this." Mm-hmm. But that was like that would just happen, but nobody actually would go buy on it. They weren't planning on anyone ever buying. The auctioneer would show up and just read off numbers, and because that was just going to happen. And then I showed up and I was like, "Hey, I think I want to bid on that." And they were like, "What? You want to bid on that?" Like I had to read all the foreclosure documents on how nobody did.
Wow.
And pretty quickly became so bought my first house. Did really good. Yeah. Like there's fun stories about the pros and the cons of all those. And within a couple of years, I had a giant real estate company in Northern California. Our brokerage was the biggest brokerage around. We had more volume than anybody, and we were.
You're good. Keep talking.
I had more volume than anybody at the time. So I went from the year prior, we did not own a brokerage. I was working for somebody else.
Yeah.
To now I had the biggest brokerage in Northern California.
That's a lot of liability in itself.
Oh yeah, a lot of liability. But it was wild because people are like, "How did you become the biggest broker?" And I think a lot of that relates to now, the time we live in, and because I was buying 30 houses a month at auction, fixing them and selling them, and we were selling them on the market. And at the time, we were the only game in town because everything else was a short sale or an REO, and we had these fixed up houses that we could warranty, and it was really great. And so. So yeah, so that business became booming, and that became like my first like big thing. I had lots of ups and downs after that, like figuring out and changing a lot of things after that. But that was how I kind of fell into foreclosures from like hard work and being dumb, and done a lot of stuff since then. I've got the podcast, I've got development companies, and I bought lots of houses. I got rich and broke a few times, but the most interesting part of that story is just that idea of. I shouldn't have been the one that became the biggest real estate guy in Northern California.
Why not, though?
But there was people a year prior that had done thousands of closings, right? Yeah. There were people that had these teams, but everyone was really set in their ways. So when the market changed, so you know, think 3 or 4 years ago, market was on fire.
Yeah.
In the last few years, it's really slowed down. Mm-hmm. The people that are doing the best right now are the agents that are like brand new the last 2 years. Because they don't know that it's so much harder than it was. So all the agents at the time were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much harder." Mm-hmm. But because I was a nobody and I didn't know and I had nothing to compare it to, it was hard work. But all of a sudden I had this giant company. But like I was the last person that should have done it. But it was because I was new and didn't have the expectation of how easy life used to be.
Yeah.
You didn't know what to be afraid of.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to be afraid of.
Yeah.
How did you make that transition from Northern California to Texas?
Yeah. So 2009, 2012, I flipped 1,000 houses out in California. My investors made a ton of money. I was making a ton of money. It was really, really awesome. Blackstone, some guys that were represented by Blackstone came out and met with me. They were meeting with a few foreclosure people at the time. They said, "Hey, come to work for us. We've got this idea. We're going to do this foreclosure, buy to rent thing. Come be an employee." And and I'm like, "What about my company? What about this?" And I was like too cocky and too dumb, and I was like, "You're not gonna put me out of business. I invented this industry." I should have Googled who Blackstone was. I didn't. I should have saw how big they were.
Yeah.
They put me out of business really quick because they essentially took over my business plan and did it. And the people that used to work for me went to go work for them. Mm-hmm. And it was like heartbreaking. And so I spent a couple of years just feeling like an idiot. And I showed up at an auction in Texas very randomly. So when times were good and 2010, 2011, somebody brought me this apartment complex in Killeen and said, "Hey, do you want to buy this apartment complex?" And I looked at the cash flow of it, and I had some money. It was the only investment I ever bought. I was always just flipping foreclosures. The only long-term investment I ever bought was this apartment complex in Killeen because the cash flow was so good. Now it turned out being, I think overall it turned out being a good deal. But I got this screaming deal on this apartment. Didn't really care. Hadn't really come back out to Texas, and then. A couple years later, I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm still sad about screwing up my one big once-in-a-lifetime chance. And this real estate agent sent me this other apartment. And she's like, "Hey, this one is for sale right now, but we got to act. It's right across from your other one, but we got to act fast because it's scheduled for foreclosure auction next week." And I was like, "Huh."
You're like, "Ding."
I'm like, maybe I need to go buy this thing at foreclosure. Yeah. So then I got money together from a line of credit from even though I hadn't been successful the last few years, there was still a line of credit that I was able to use to get checks to go to auction. And I flew out to auction. At the time I was terrified of flying. So I flew to Dallas and drove to Killeen, so I'd only have to do one flight. I thought I was going to die the whole time. I show up to auction, the auctioneer shows up, and it's an $800,000 complex, and she has an opening bid of $320,000, and I got $325,000 with me, which was just crazy. Yeah. And she does the opening bid, and I get cold feet. And I don't bid on it. And I'm just like, going once, going twice, sold, and my heart just kind of sinks because I'm like, what happened? I hadn't been successful in a couple of years, and it's like I'd lost. I was the best foreclosure buyer in the world, and lost all my confidence. And so then I'm like sitting there all sad, and I'm calling home like, no, I didn't get it, and I didn't even have the money to fly out here, didn't have the money to do this. I shouldn't have done it. And while I was sitting there sulking, this other auctioneer showed up and started just selling houses, and nobody was bidding on them. And it's like a house sold for $30,000, a house sold for $50,000. And I was like, there may be a real opportunity out here. So I flew home, not as sad anymore. Flew back out the next month, and I did auction the way that I do it. And I showed up on Friday, and I drove houses and went comps. And on that next Tuesday, I bought 2 houses. And the first one sold in a couple weeks. I made $60,000 on it. And I was like, I'm back.
Yeah.
I hadn't made money in years.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I'm back. And so that's what brought me to Texas. Like, and then that grew from there.
Sweet. At what point did you get involved with Real Estate Rockstars?
Yeah. So part of my transition, one thing that I learned in like 2012 when I got put out of business, when I started auction in California in 2009, there was like one of 3 bidders. Hundreds of houses would sell. 3 of us were standing there. We'd be like, no, you go ahead and bid on this one. I don't want to get up from my chair. We were like, it was incredible, right? Literally, that would happen. And then by the time I got put out of business in 2012, there was hundreds of people bidding, and there was only like 3 houses that would sell.
Yeah.
And I said, the only guy making money is the guy that was selling the data. That was Sean O'Toole, who owned Foreclosure Radar at the time. And so when I came out to Texas and I started getting successful, I started reaching out to the company owner, the people that sold the data out here. And I essentially said, hey, I want to buy your business. I want to do a partnership with you. It didn't really go anywhere. A few years later, when the owner passed away, they reached out to me and said, do you want to buy it? So that was my first acquisition of a company, was Roddy's foreclosure listing service. And then that became this new exciting thing, learning how to do software, subscription models, things like that. And then it was like, how do we grow that? And so then it was, started with that as the first company, bought a competitor and brought it in, built a software that was like PropStream. And so I had all these things, and then a buddy of mine, Pat Hyben, who I knew through GoAbundance, was trying to sell the podcast, and he said, hey, would you be interested? At the time, I was thinking, hey, I've got all these other real estate type software type companies. Mm-hmm. I'm going to buy that one too. Yeah. And he had some, because it was all the same thing, online ads to drive things, kind of the follow up. But the funniest part, so we ended up buying Real Estate Rockstars for the podcast and for the recurring revenue business, but I was not going to be the host. I was absolutely not going to be the host. I was going to be the guy that owned the radio show, not the guy on the radio show. Yeah. So people would audition, and I was trying to find our host, and people would audition to be the host, and we would have them do the auditions, but every once in a while the guest host would not show up.
Oh man.
And so I would jump on and be the host.
Yeah.
And my shows got way more downloads. And so after a couple months of saying I'm not going to be the host, but I was just filling in, I became the host.
Yeah.
I became the host, and it has been a lot of fun. Like, I've got to meet a lot of people. When I look at my first podcast interviews compared to now, it's like I definitely know what I'm doing now. It's been a lot of fun getting into it. But it was kind of, I bought the company, tried to buy it as a company because in that mood. Our one company, our Ferrari company, was making a lot of money. We were trying to acquire other ones to try to do a big roll up. And then just kind of fell into becoming the host.
So the podcast came before the conference.
Yeah.
Rockstar.
Yeah. The Real Estate Rockstars conference came after. Yeah. Okay. So I got the podcast early 2019. Mm-hmm. COVID hits 6 months later. Mm-hmm. And at first, podcast sounds went way down because people weren't driving in their car anymore.
Yeah.
And then all the people that were signed up for the recurring revenue training quit because when COVID first hit, people were like, look on your bills, cut your bills, the world's over. Yeah. And people were like, oh, this is a subscription I don't use anymore. And as we were, so did it that year and just did the podcast. But I got to go all in on interviewing all sorts of people. And the cool thing about what happened with COVID is I got to start interviewing some really, really impressive people, because I could reach out to people that were normally untouchable, and they were bored.
They're at home.
Yeah, they were. So it's you get to interview all the people that were on $1 Million Listing. You get to interview Robert Kiyosaki. You get to interview. There were some huge influencers that I was a huge fan of, and I couldn't believe when they got on Zoom on the other side of me. Yeah, because I've been following them online obsessively, and so it created some really cool content over that year. And then I want to say so then middle of 21. Which was was it 21 or 22? some time had passed where at the end of the year I did like this highlight thing of like who had our most downloads this year, and I had some really cool episodes that year, like really like people crying, people like being excited, like some really like episodes that like stood out. And I did this like release of like the top 10 episodes of the year based on downloads. I did this re-release, and one of the gals who was one of the top ones couldn't believe it, and she goes, you know what, we need to put together an event, like the COVID's over, like let's go get together and go do something. And so our first event, she kind of put it together. She came out and like we found the spot. It was at a really inexpensive like church in North Austin. We had a super cheap hotel, but we brought these people together, and it was just magical.
Yeah.
Like I had a vision for how it would work, and it was like the whole vision was like, let's do the podcast in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just like, instead of like the people that we interviewed that people loved, let's have them just talk on
Yeah.
stage. And nobody was a polished. I mean, we had a couple polished speakers. We had Hal Elrod, we had David Osborne come in, but in general, it was like what the podcast was meant to be. Like
Yeah.
we're just. I get people all the time like, can I get on your podcast? I'm like, no, I only interview active real estate agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it grew and became
and
the
that
conference.
event, this was my first year attending that. I've wanted to go for several years, but always given my ticket to somebody else, it
Yeah.
seems like. But I've said it over and over again. It is so incredible how you walk in this room with these people from all over the country. Some are, I mean, multi-million dollar producers, big names in real
Yeah.
estate in their states, you know, alone and then across the nation. But they will say, I'm an open book. What do you want to know?
Yeah.
It's just an incredible group of people to find yourself surrounded by. Like there's just so much energy and so many real life applications that you can use for your life, for
Yeah.
your business and your career. It's a cool experience.
Yeah.
I get
I agree.
chills just thinking about it.
I do
It's-
too. It's so crazy because I've always, these guys would come back and be like, oh my God, oh
Let's
my
do
God. It's like
this.
the church camp high, you know,
Yeah.
you come back and it's like, you got all these things you want
Because
to talk about.
my first one was 2024, and that's kind of what led Andrea and I down like our YouTube path.
Yeah.
Because of Sam out of Florida.
Yeah.
And then she started hers like November of 2024, and then mine started up. My first video posted while we were here in
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
And I talked to Sam about it, and he was like, "Dude, here's my number. Call me if you have any questions. You're not in my market, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll help you."
That's the
And
coolest part of the whole thing.
Eli, out of Idaho.
Eli Brown.
Elliot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot. Like
Elliot.
yeah.
I don't know why I keep
So
calling him Eli.
no, Elliot was one of my favorite podcast episodes ever.
Yeah.
And so he was one that came to that original event, and it's really cool because I had learned through some of my other masterminds I've been a part of. I had learned this kind of concept of you get everyone together, big, small, successful, not, and you intermix them because you never know like who's going to actually solve it. The example of what happened to me in 2012, like I became the flipper, or in 2009, I became the flipper because nobody else did. Like the new guy, I had the best idea as the new guy that had never done it. Right? And some of the people successful right now are the new people that have never done it. One of the gals was there this year, like she just became an agent like 9 months ago and started crushing it on TikTok. And she's,
Lexi.
Yeah.
she's great, right?
She's so good.
I chat with her all the time.
Yeah.
And so we've got all these little experiences, but you get everybody together and it's like we cap the room. It's not like one of those, I promise everybody when they get there, and just by the way that I'm strategic on who gets to sit next to who. I'm strategic on how we do it. By the end of it, you're going to know everybody and the way we do the questions. And it really is I'm really proud of it. It is a really special thing where everybody, when they leave, they like know everybody. And the all-stars like Sam, they're like, I'll help you because this is different.
Yeah. And it's got, it sells out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Typically, I know 2024 when I went, I bought my ticket right when he flashed it on screen. I did the same thing in 25. And I did the same thing this year.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to not have that ability to come.
Dude, you were always my first ticket buyer.
Yeah.
And I also want you to know it means a lot to me because this event, like I don't make money on it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a passion project. And every year I have so much stress and everything leading up to it. I'm like, this has to be my last year. I got too much stuff going on. And then we get there and we have these magical moments that change my, like I'm always like, I had a few moments this year that was like, this is the whole reason I do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it helps to know that like I'm not alone with it.
Yep.
So right when I flashed that, I'm like, all right, there's no incentive for you guys to buy it right now, except for like show support to me. And you're like, I got my ticket. I'm in.
Yeah.
Did you remember Harry from this last year? Big, tall.
Big guy.
Big.
Yeah.
He had to leave a little bit early, but then like as soon as you cut us loose, like within 20 minutes, like he called me. He's like, "Hey, are you guys still there?" I was like, "No, we just left." He's like, dude, this is awesome. I know I'm moving to Frisco, but I'm coming back next year. I was like, all right, dude, sell a house and buy a ticket. And so.
And I don't even think he had his first closing like on
No.
his own when he came.
Yeah. No.
But it put so much fire in him
Yeah.
just from being in that room. Yeah. And I just love how nobody has to be the smartest person in the room. Like,
Yeah.
no one's trying to be that. Everybody's just there to truly offer what they can.
And just the group itself, like
Yeah.
John and Chris. I can't remember her name, but she does property management in North Carolina. Alyssa out of New Jersey. Elliot. Who else? John's friend. I can
Like
never.
the OGs. Or
Yeah,
the
like
OGs.
they're-
Like your,
you get
those-
Tim Esteban.
Tim Esteban, yeah, like
you get
it's-
Sarah Denig, who
Yeah.
she was a nurse when I first interviewed. She would essentially like listen to the podcast, and she was like a nurse doing real estate on the side, and she would like take a video like, "Hey, I'm staging the house this way," and like tag me, and then we started chatting, and then she became part of the interview, and now she helps me set up the event every year.
yeah.
She's a sweetheart. She didn't say it the whole time
This
year.
time she had so much stuff going
Yeah.
on. This is how amazing she is. She had so much stuff going on that she flew in for a day
Yep.
just to show support.
Yep.
Just to like show
Yeah.
up and give me a hug and see if I was doing okay, because I've
Yeah.
had a heck of a year with some other stuff. And it was like, that's what the podcast is. She flew out to give me a day to be like, I'm here, hug me, what do you need? Okay, I actually have to go, but I just wanted to let you know that I was here.
Yeah.
That's
That entire event, and then just the way from start to finish, you're literally drinking from a fire hose while you're
yeah.
there. And I'm trying to like take notes
like
as
in the
fast as
best
possible.
way. Yeah.
And it's in the book, being able to look back and be like, call this person now, and reaching out to them afterwards and just being like, hey man, let's re-engage about what you were talking about at Rockstars, because that was pretty cool. How can I do that?
Yeah.
And I love it.
Like I've met Deb Bowman for coffee a couple of times since Rockstars. Just
Yeah.
randomly, we'll just meet up down here somewhere, just
Yeah.
to talk. But it is, it is such a cool experience, and I will go every year.
Yeah, it's broker agnostic.
Yes,
I mean,
I love that
It's
too.
such a melting pot, because they had the couple people from Vista. There's Keller Williams that come, other EXP agents, real agents, just everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm even an agent now. For many years, I've not been a real estate agent.
Really?
Are you?
Which is wild. People are like, how can you host this and not be an agent
Yeah.
and do that? And I finally became an agent, just a couple months ago. And it's kind of funny, but it's still stay agnostic, right? Like, by people on the podcast don't even know, right? Like and they don't know where or how and the affiliations and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's been cool to mix everybody together and keep it to where competitors get to chat and people get to have fun, and it's this open space, and I try to make sure I make everybody tear up a little bit each time.
And you
Everybody
do. You
get
did.
excited each time. And but I always have my moments. There's been so many stories of people that like showed up there without the skill set, and the next year they crushed it.
Yeah.
Like, it gave them what they wanted. And
What was her name? Is it Kristen?
Kristen was one of the gals on stage this year. She's running like the
Red Bull.
the event. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Red Bull
Event,
sponsorship.
Like,
she's killing it.
I remember, was it 24 when she came? She was like, no, real estate, this, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And then just watching her journey on Instagram from 24 and saying it went back to us at Mastermind, just being cheerleaders. I was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, because the relationships are really authentic.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't find at a real estate conference usually.
No. And I've been to a couple out of state, and there's nothing like this.
Yeah.
There's Jeff Glover puts on a really good like training seminar, but it's nothing like this.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think in general in life, like, we need people that are like just authentic and care and like extra friends, like, because as we get older, we don't have like, you've got the friends that like whenever they call, you hear from them like every couple years, and when you see them, it's amazing. I had a friend that I hadn't seen since high school come to town like a week and a half ago, and we got to take our kids out on the boat, sat for an hour and a half. I hadn't seen him in 10 years. And I might not see him for another 10, but it was like really, really special.
Yeah.
But we need more of those things in our life.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think what part of what we built through that Rockstars community is it's one of the few places, I'm sure there's other ones like it, but like one of the things I love about it the most is these relationships that we create.
Yeah.
Like and this isn't supposed to be an advertisement for anything. This is
No,
what we're
it's
getting
just
into.
that
That's what we're
good.
getting into and excited about right now, because it really is. I've gained so many like true friends through this that when I got T-boned last week, my car got totaled. right? The people that reached out were people that I met at my Rockstars event, right? Like when I'm posting something, because I'm really honest about my highs, my lows, everything, and when I'm posting something that's tough, they reach out to me, and when I had something like really, really major happen a couple of years ago, like it was some of the people that I met through Rockstars that I called first and said like, this is what I'm going through, right? And it is like, to have those like friendships and relationships, so like you say Deb Bowman every once in a while. It's like to create these friendships with people that we don't see all the time. We see them every once in a while, but when we get to meet back up each year, we're like, hey. Even if you see them once a year, it is this like deep friendship. It's pretty wild. It's pretty
that's how it was the first night when we came down before it started.
Yeah.
We went to Terry Black's for the little get together, and they're all walking around high-fiving and hugging, and I'm like, this is incredible that they all still know each other and remember each other.
Like Elliot and I have like we've met up in Vegas together. Like he's come to Austin for F1 and we've hung out again since then. Like all of it. So. Yeah, a community, right? If we were to like summarize like what's really like why that lights me up, why that lights up you guys, what's like a good life lesson is that community is important, and figuring out how to like find these deep friendships that don't require a whole lot of time and effort necessarily, but like are there for you when you need them. Really
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, and I feel like we cheer each other on social media too. We're liking or sharing or sending messages just saying, hey, good job on this kind of thing.
It's
so
pretty special.
Yeah,
I'm pretty proud.
Cool.
Every time
you should be.
Every year, the week or two leading up, I'm like, this is the last one because it was super hard and I was doing it by myself, all these things. And I get there and we experience the magic and we're like, oh yeah.
We're gonna do it again next year.
We're
gonna do it next year. We're gonna delete that slide this year.
It's even down to the very last like hour before. I'm like, okay. I decided I'm gonna still take this. I just put up a stripe link.
But
like
you guys do more than just you're figuring out where we can go eat together afterward or hang out or spend time together. I mean,
it's a whole thing. It's
a whole experience.
I know that when someone comes out here, the cheapest part's actually the ticket. Like flying out, getting the hotel, like dedicating your time. I know that people are like sacrificing something major to like place a bet on, is this going to be the thing? And so it's like so honored that we want it to be like this 3-day experience. It's just incredible.
And what's crazy is like we're all pretty busy, but then you'll be like, man, I really need to answer this phone call and figure out this contract. I can't remember her name, but she was working a deal and she's like, let me get your opinion about this. I know you're not in my state. But what would you do? And I'd be like, oh, I would do this. And then I would probably tell the other agent to go fuck themselves. And she was like, well, I can't say that. I was like, I know, but that's what I would do. And
just for the record, you're not supposed to say that either.
Yeah. And so, but it's just cool. I love it. I love it every year.
Yeah. So I know you said you just got your real estate license, but what do you think the agents should be focusing on right now if they're just getting into real estate, or maybe they've been in it for a couple of years and it is tougher than it's been before?
Yeah.
So what do you think they need to be focusing their time on?
So big companies used to have this thing called like a management training program. So like if you're going to work for this company, they would have you go work in this department for a couple months, then this department for a couple months, then this department for a couple months. And when I was the first intern at a home builder, it was like I got to be a superintendent for 2 months, and I did purchasing for 2 months. Next summer I did land development. I think these new agents need to try. There's so many ways to get leads. There's so many ways to get business. Yeah. There's so many ways that are you, right? Because like you come to an event or you get online, you go on YouTube. What should you do? And they're like, you need to build a social media, and you need a door knock, and you need a cold text, you need a cold call, and you need to do open houses. And there's a million things that you can do, right? And I think the new agents need to try all of them, and go like, because like so some people when they cold call. At the end of the day, they're like energized. They get in their car and they're like, man, that was fun. I called 200 people and 3 of them wanted to book an appointment, and they feel jazzed.
Right.
With one of my companies right now, we've got cold callers, right? And then some of them at the end of the day, they're like, man, that was hard.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, so one of them is meant to be a cold caller, and one of them is not.
Yeah.
Or door knocking, or open houses, or social media, or like Lexi, who's took off on TikTok this year, and like she's built her whole business around that, and now she's building a team, and now she's doing this other thing. Like TikTok just happened to be the thing that like she knew how to do. Yeah. So I think agents need to be trying everything. Okay. One, to see like what they love the most, because that's like the thing one. And I still think they should be diversified and have a few ways they like get their leads. I think getting on with people, like getting on with a mentor that can help them and hold them accountable, because like getting ideas and like feedback and like not having like figure out the contract stuff by yourself is great. But accountability is probably almost more important.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you say, hey, I'm going to do open houses, and somebody's going to be going, did you do your open houses? Like doing, and like life can be lonely enough, like your work shouldn't be. And so I think finding a good team, finding good mentors, what agents should do. I'm super excited about the AI stuff right now.
Yeah.
Like you guys got to see the first look at mine and Max's business before it was even a business on our like AI texting
that
class.
was the wildest day.
And that has, and that has absolutely taken off. We had built a giant company. Our first client came from the conference that afterwards said, can you build me one of those? And now we've built a giant company, and it is, and that stuff's really exciting. So I think they should try a lot of things, see what they like. I think they should get on with some mentors, and then get a good expectation of what like locking in is.
Yeah.
To like commit to a certain amount of time. Like, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it for 3 months, for 6 months, because one of my favorite questions on the podcast is I say like, how long did it take to get your first deal?
Yeah.
And some people are like, it took me a month, and some people are like, it took me 7 months, right? And like, what if you'd have quit on month 6? And Nicole, who came to Rockstars 2 years ago, and she hadn't done any volume, and then last year she was like my superstar.
No, I think it was her first time was my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. So that was her first time, and that was the time in the room she felt like she didn't belong there because she hadn't done any volume. Yeah. But then she left and she did everything. She said, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then she came back the next year. And she was like, and she just really, really started like crushing it. But even then, she said it took like after the event, she just did all the things. And 4 or 5 months later, she finally got her first deal.
So patient.
Right. And then she called Chris, and she called Chris Aids like crying. Like the guy that she met at Rockstars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, Rancho Cucamonga.
Because from Rancho Cucamonga, because he knew it. So like that's just the story of like. It is. It used to not be super uncommon for someone to join real estate and within a couple months get a paycheck.
Yeah.
But if you have the right commitment that they're going to dig in and figure out how to do it, for that, I think new agents really need that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, what you said something about AI. What are some ways that we as agents should be plugging into AI right now?
Yeah.
That maybe we don't know about.
Yeah, there's easy, moderate, and like really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
The easy stuff is really quick things like contract analysis. Like you upload your contract and you're like, so random thing. Hey, the buyer doesn't want to close now because of this, and they're saying this. They're saying that we were supposed to do this too, even though it wasn't on the request for repair. Right? And you upload that contract to ChatGPT or Claude or any of them, and you say, hey, this is what's happening. And what's the legal take on it? And the legal take from those bots is amazing. Right? And they go, well, here's the strict legal take. And what are the 3 ways I can go about it? We're uploading requests for repairs now and going, hey, so my client just wants the main things done. She doesn't want to lose the house, but she like wants this. And chat will say, here's the things you need done no matter what. Here's about what they're going to cost. Here's the things that like, you could ask for. Here's the things that nobody ever asks for. Right? There's little things like that just help with like quick processes that just make it easier. Like, I think a lot of us in our business have said, God, I wish there was somebody else like me. I wish there was more of me.
Wish there was 2 of me.
I wish there was 2 of me.
Yeah.
What AI is it's 2 of you, or it's 3 of you, or it's 5 of you. It's like you get to train your brain. It's the first time in the world that we can like duplicate ourselves. We can duplicate our own brains and make it happen. And so that's probably the most exciting part about it is that.
Have you used Adam that Strategy Ninjas gave us yet?
The
chatbot for
I
ChatGPT. We
use it.
We use that thing religiously. Like that was probably one of the top takeaways I took from this past year was getting in AI. Like I'd played around with ChatGPT to help me here or there, but then them breaking it down and then talking to other agents while we were there using AI, and then I attended a couple of their classes, and then I linked Adam to my ChatGPT, and man, he is just
Adam's a rock star.
Yeah, like we were because we messed up in the recordings. I was in there just trying to redo the script for recruiting and stuff like that, and like he was giving us like pointers and just like zingers to like add to the show for like the intros or the outros and stuff like that.
But he's real estate minded, so that makes it just even better. Yeah.
One of the other neat things that AI can do right now too. So like 3 or 4 years ago, it was like you need to set up your CRM. Yeah. And you need to set up a CRM that as soon as you meet the person, it goes in here and it's going to do the follow-up email and the follow-up text. And because we have the 7 touches until we get a deal, and you're going to bring in this type of client, this type of client, this type of client, and you're going to do your newsletters. There's like this plan. And so 3 or 4 years ago, that plan took effort, took someone that knew how to do knew how to set up your go high level or your follow-up boss. You have to hire a specialist. They gave you the content. Yeah. And now you can really, like with Claude Cowork, you can go, I just got follow-up boss, or I just got go high level. And so one of my first things I did with Claude is I said, like, hey, I just downloaded 5 years of chat transcripts from my live website, and said I don't want to have to answer these anymore. And it analyzed 5 years of chat transcripts. It built a thing, and we turned that bot on for Roddy's for my foreclosure company, and we haven't had to live answer a chat in like 4 months. And that's one guy's full-time job. So I have a guy that his full-time job was answering the chats, and now he doesn't. So like once or twice a day, it sends him one it can't answer that got escalated, but we freed up 7 hours of his day. And that was just saying, hey, do this, right? And so then I've taken that further and said, hey, I need a chat bot. Here's my AI. It builds it for texting, right? And it can go do it. So now, like, let's say you sign up for follow, or you haven't even signed up for anything. Follow boss, go high level. You're like, hey, I need a CRM, and it's a real estate CRM. And I want to be able to do all these things that I was thinking about, plus what am I forgetting? You're like, I want to be able to do follow-up texting and emailing and doing the 7 touches. I want to have them into these categories, but then I also want to keep people involved. And I've heard about, people doing movie nights, and I've heard about people doing this, but like, I need it all and set it up. And it gives you the plan, and you say, now set it up, and you can watch it on your screen, go into what it'll say, go sign up for Follow Boss, go sign up for Go High Level, go sign up for HubSpot, make it yourself. And you can say, go set up, and you can watch it going in and clicking and setting up the workflows and setting up the text. It takes like 3 hours, right? But like recently, so for my property management company, I was using Dialpad for dials, I was using Gmail, I was using all these different softwares for property management. And so I told the bot, I said, I need one thing. And now that I know how good AI calling and texting is, because we were missing leads because my person answering Dialpad wasn't answering enough, or I was having a tough time keeping somebody employed in that position that I was covering, and I'm sure not answering enough when I'm the property manager. And so it took like a day for it to go in, and it downloaded all my old text history from Dialpad and all my email history with the customers and linked to all my stuff. And so now I have one CRM that's everything. And now if we don't answer the text, the AI does, and it knows all this stuff. And it took about 12 hours, it took like a day of like interacting with Claude, but then like I went to bed, and because I had to go grab all those texts and everything, when I woke up, like everything was in the same spot. And so a big thing that it can do is like, your brain needs to be thought of in the way of like, wow, our life would be so great if I didn't have to get this over here and this over here and still use DocuSign and still use this, and just like start to challenge it, because you can build, and so that's how you get 2 of you, right? Because instead of like taking someone else's system, you're like, this is the system that I like and I wish, but I just wish that I didn't have to like go grab this in those places. So AI, I could talk about that for too long, and so I won't, but there's, I think that people should at a minimum just be chatting with it every day, random questions. Can you do it with a spreadsheet? Can you give me advice on this? To have got an idea of why is this so hard? Should it be easier? And you might be surprised at what you could build without any sort of experience at all.
Interesting. I'm definitely not using it.
That was something that happened like 2 months ago because like 3 months ago you had to download this special open call in order to get like control of your computer. Yeah. And that was hard for me to install. I had to teach myself. I was like one of the first to do it. I did it all. I loved it. I was getting really deep in it. But then these new operators in this last couple of months, essentially, that used to be really hard to get set up. And now these new ones are like, hey, we just decided that like now we have browser control. And that browser control changed the game. So when I'm starting and stopping insurance for a property, I say start insurance for this. It goes and logs in, and it'll ask me a few questions. How much do you pay for the property? Who's your lender? It's unlimited.
We're going to tell Harry not to watch this one or listen to this one.
Harry's terrified of it.
Yeah, Harry is like, God.
I do say please and thank you, and I say hi to my Tesla for me periodically, because I never, if they decide that they don't like me anymore, I want the ones controlling my car to think I was one of the good ones.
Jeez.
I mean, if I push that back at you guys, if Harry goes down the rabbit hole, there's people asked me yesterday, like, so what do you think is going to happen with AI over the next 5 years?
Yeah.
And it's either going to be a bunch of rich people and a bunch of poor people, because AI is eliminating some roles in the world.
Yeah.
Or you have Elon's version where he's like, everyone's going to own a robot. It's going to be cool. We're about to live in this time where like nobody has to work and everybody's chill.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Instead of voting on one.
And that's how Skynet takes over.
Right. It's like one of the two, right?
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
it's either like Skynet never shows up and it's awesome, or it's awesome the day before Skynet shows up, or it just isn't. The people that like learn how to use all this stuff. It's really like what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
But people have been saying that for
Yeah.
30 years.
I know.
40. They would say, I guess people would say it for 100 years. People would say it's the end of the world and what a time to be alive for 100 years.
Yeah, I've always wanted a Rosie from the Jetsons. I always
Yeah.
thought that would be the ultimate.
So
have
cool.
her just around the house. So I'm ready for it, Matt. Matt's not ready.
I'm like 50-50 on it.
I have no way of knowing how to use that stuff like Aaron does, but
I'll
we'll
embrace
get
it, but man,
terrifying
yeah.
and exciting all at the same time. Tell us about your worst investment. You told us about some good ones, but tell us about the worst investment you made.
I'm gonna text my daughter really quick.
Oh,
This
okay.
is so live podcast with the HVAC person coming to the house. Like the
That's
Well,
important.
while he's
right
doing
now.
that, so if you have any questions and you want to become an investor, or you're looking at becoming a real estate agent, or you want to buy and sell in real estate, just call Jennifer or I, or reach out to Aaron. We'll have all of his info down in the description as well. And it's gonna be great.
All right. Okay. So the worst investment ever.
Yeah, tell us about the worst one you made.
I've got a bunch. I've got a bunch of really bad ones. With buying companies, right? So when I first started acquiring companies, it was like the first ones were really, really good because I would get them for get really, really good deals, and then it started getting to the point where sometimes I wanted to buy them just to buy them, and those would be huge mistakes. And I think real estate is probably gets to be the same. My worst investments were I invested in other people other than me. Right, when I decided like, okay, I've done really, really well. Now I have extra money. Now I want to, instead of being like the operator in the action, now I want to graduate. Now I want to go invest in this person's development or this person's development.
Yeah.
And that turned out really, really bad. Because I think I trusted the people to act like me. So I've had a lot of those go wrong. I've had a lot of like purchases I did out of ego. Like so, I had a wholesale deal that like I essentially bought that the guy said like, hey, do you want to do this one? And I had no business really doing it in Dallas. I said I'd probably pay this. He says, cool, you can buy it. I realized he's making I'm paying $130,000, but I realized he's making a $70,000 wholesale fee on it.
Yikes.
So then I should be wondering like what else is going on. But I was actually like too prideful to like not close because I said I would, and it's like no, if I say I'm going to, but I should have known from that like something must be wrong. And I was told it was renters in the house and everything. So on that little $130,000 investment, I lost. I probably lost $130,000, and it took me a year to finish. There was, one of the first awesome deals I bought in Killeen was that apartment and at the time I loved like Class C and Class D, like the stuff that was like just so run down because once you got it running, the cash flow was good. But I didn't really understand there's like a season that over 2-3 years you get it to or else and it's super performing. But then at that price point in those neighborhoods, eventually it starts wearing out again. So meaning like you have these years of 100% occupancy because of how it's fixed up, and it starts getting down and down, and someone sells it, then a new person comes in with a new loan and they fix it up. It's about can you sell it at the top? But I bought these. Do you guys know where Little Avenue is in Killeen?
What is it?
Little Avenue. It's like right along this little creek. So when I first started developing up in Bell County, there are 17 houses right next to each other. Now these little houses are probably the size of this like little area right behind us, like these little 2 and 3 bedroom houses, but they were like old little shacks on stilts. But it's like there's 17 houses right next to each other, and I bought them for $150,000 total, right? $8,000 a house. Whoa. And at the time, 3 of them were rented for $500 a month. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the best deal ever. And then you start getting into it, and they're falling apart, and you need more work, and you need even though I paid $8,000 for the house to actually get this one functional, it's going to cost $20 or $30. But then keeping people out and it just ended up being just this giant money pit of a project. And so it took me 4 or 5 years to finally get that sold where someone else would buy it. I was able to sell it in 2021, which is like the height of the market.
Good for you.
And but I still took a huge loss. So I paid $150,000 for 17 houses, thinking, how do you lose this? And I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it took me years. Like, how do I lose hundreds of thousands of dollars on a $150,000 investment? right? And so there's plenty of bad investments out there, and and I think what I've really learned though, because I really learned that there's stuff that I'm really, really good at. There are foreclosures and acquisitions of stuff that I'm really, really good at, and if I stay in my lane, I do really, really well. And then auctions is my favorite thing. And I think that before anybody tries to invest in anything, they come up with a plan or a buy box or something. We are only going to buy houses that look like this.
Yeah.
We are only going to sell houses that look like this. We're only going to buy if we can buy it for this deal. And so before we do any investing, people say, this is what I'm going to do and here are my rules, when there's no emotions and they're very smart and they've thought it through.
Yeah.
And then people go in and they get discouraged or they get, not greedy, like impatient, and they bend their rules. And every time I bent my rules, like sometimes I could bend the rules and make money, but all my biggest losses are when I bent the rules. Is when I changed my original plan. And then the problem is you bend your rules a little bit and it actually works once.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, my original foundation wasn't that bad. I didn't have to just focus on those. So like I think if someone's gonna invest, like you gotta follow your rules.
Keep the emotion out. Yeah.
I mean, I had some bad investments a couple years ago that the Austin market was slow, doing some development deals. At the time, I was like, well, we're gonna focus on these, but only ones that we could sell for $500,000 because that's the market we needed. Well, then we had an opportunity to get some land better, and now these are priced at $1 million. We're like, oh, but these are a screaming deal. Well, those ones are struggling, right? And it was like, came up with some rules, decided a business plan, broke the rules, and then cost me a couple $1,000,000.
Trust yourself. Yeah. Absolutely.
We kind of already took that one out of the way.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We skip
Is she
around.
stealing your questions right now?
Yeah.
No, we
You have
jumped
goals?
right into it in the beginning.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, it's
she just skipped steps.
Well, sometimes I find him like looking outside.
How do you guys work together? What's your...
So I hired Matt at
Yeah.
Vista when he got his license, and I was his broker until we both left Vista in 20.
And you both looked at... How did you get into real estate?
I started real estate in 2006 and went to Century 21, Gelrow and Associates in Temple, Texas on 31st Street and said, I need a job. And she hired me, and she was mean and scary, and I'm still intimidated by her, but she taught me so much.
Okay, so you got into real estate in 06. So earlier when I said 05, you're like, I was still a mom. Well, the year later you got in.
Yeah,
So
no,
you got to experience...
Oh, yeah.
So you had a year or two of awesome before all of a sudden you guys were like, what happened? And
We
then,
just talked about that too, because it was like, it was bad, but I didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea what was happening around me because I was barely licensed.
Yeah, sorry, I took over this interview a little bit.
No,
and then
you're
you
good.
were you were in Iraq, like
I deployed in September of 05 to Iraq.
Yeah.
Got back in September of 06.
And how did you get into real estate?
So I got out. I sold insurance for a couple of months, and then I started working at Don Wrangler Toyota in Temple, where I met her husband, and then she ultimately helped me buy a house.
Yeah, I sold him his house.
And then some fuckery happened, and I was like, I'm done. And Eric was like, talk to Jennifer. You might be a good realtor. So we went and had dinner, had some drinks, and she was like, get your license and I'll hire you.
I had no idea that you're like your guys' history with all that.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I think the first time I met you was at Rockstars at that event. I don't know if I'd ever met you up in Temple before at Vista or anything else. I also love, we were talking about the podcast and everything bringing us together 4 or 5 months ago. I'm like, hey, Matt, I have an emergency. I need I need to figure out what's going on with this house. Is somebody there or not? I need a lockbox put on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he's like, I'm at this, and he was doing something he was busy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm doing this, but I could after this, after that, I can head over there. It's 45 minutes. And he's like, all right,
Yeah.
put a lockbox on it. It's good. You're all set. Let me know if I can help you with anything else. And it wasn't only if I can list it or can I help you? Or
No.
it was just
No.
he's like, whatever. It was he's like, I'm having a really, really stressful bad day, but no problem. Let me go do it after I do this other
That's
stuff.
normal.
And it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And and then once you became licensed, what year was that?
2018, August of 2018.
How long did it take you to get your first deal?
3 months.
Okay. And back in 06, how long did it take you to get your first
I
deal?
got my first deal in 30 days.
Okay, see?
Yeah.
Right? Because so that used to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so the new agents now, and it can happen now. There can be those things now, but I think the idea now is we get to tell new agents this is the most incredible business in the world.
Right.
Yep.
It's the only business in the world where you can not even have an high school education if you want, and there is no limit to how much money you make.
Life changing.
Like you can, if you do good at this job that doesn't take a college education, you can make $100,000 a year. You can make $1 million a year. Like you can do. There's no limit to what you do.
I think as long as they have like the hustle in them, it's the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is the thing. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's also like a formula for it. It's like, so my cold callers for the other company, they come to me. I go. So tell me how much money you want to make. They go, I want to make X. And I'm like, okay, that means you have to close this many deals. Yep. And we know that we close 1 out of 9 appointments. And so that means, so if you need to close 10 deals a month, that means you need 90 appointments. Okay. Now to get 90 appointments, that means that you have to make, so the number of something like you have to make 4,400 calls to get 90 appointments. Like, okay, so that means you have to make 140 calls a day. Because that does mean of those 140 calls, 80 people aren't going to answer, 40 people are going to tell you suck, 6 people are going to tell you yes.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you want to make $10,000 a month, you're going to make 140 calls a day. And so here's your sheet, and here's your 140, and you're going to write down on there how many you make. And it's been so cool, like at the end of the first month on some of those to go, like she made $7,000 instead. It's like, well, how many calls did you make? How many calls did you average? And it was like literally the numbers game. It was like, I did 2,800 calls instead. It's like, cool. I told you if you did this many, you'd make 10. You did 70% of that, you made 70% of that. I think real estate's similar.
Yeah.
There's a formula if you got the hustle and if you track that hustle. And if you, but it's also like, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a few years ago, he was in that place.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm done with real estate a little bit.
Yeah.
He was doing the woodworking stuff, the epoxy and all that, and doing really well with that. And he was just out of it. And
You were
then
doing epoxy woodworking?
and he makes some impressive stuff.
Yeah.
He makes some beautiful stuff. But then he comes to me and he's like, I don't know. And then he gets a deal, and the deal lit him on fire again.
It did.
And then he crushed it.
It was the clients. It was the clients.
It's been nonstop
And
since.
that was in 22. It was like halfway through 22 when that happened, and then we went into 23. And I've talked about this before on here, but like my first like couple years in real estate was like, I'm gonna do 4 million, because back before COVID, like that was like top producers, 4 or 5 million in our area.
Yeah, in our market, yeah.
Yeah, and then COVID happened, and it's like, well, damn. I mean, dudes were blowing out 20 million in our market, no problem. And but I kept with 4 million, and then in 23, I was like 4 or 5 months in, and I blew past 4 million. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll bump it up to 8 million, and blew past 8 million, and I landed somewhere at like a 9.5 for that year. And then I went to Rockstars in 24, and I was like, okay, well, at the end of 23, I was like, well, I hit 8 million. Let's shoot for 10. We only got a couple months left. And then, so to 24, I shot for 10, and I ended up with like 11.4, 11.5. And then last year, I was like, I'm going to go 15. Let's go big. And I only did, it's a lot for that market, but I did a little over 12 million. So, I mean, it's...
In a down year.
In a down year.
When you switched brokerages.
When I switched brokerages.
Yeah.
An average
So
market
don't leave
price
that
of like
350.
300, yeah.
350.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And
A lot of
so,
transactions.
yeah, a lot of trans. It was like, I think it ended up being like 42 for last year.
But what you've done is you've continued to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And in your business. You don't stand around waiting for your brokerage to come behind you and say, here, Matt, here's what you need to go do the job.
Yeah.
You spend the money, you invest in your business, and you get it going for yourself. And that's why you've been so successful.
Yeah.
When I first met you at Rockstars, you gave me like a pin or something. There was like
Was it a poker chip?
no, it was like a military.
A coin.
Oh, a
coin.
coin.
Yeah, the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like remind me what that was.
So it was a challenge coin. So like you get them a lot in the military, and you can play a bar game with it. Like you throw down your like highest coin. But like Emilio and I he saw my poker chip. It was brought up. Andrea, I was telling him about like the reason why she came over to Vista was ultimately because some guy gave her a poker chip with their logo on it, and that was my son Lucas, who's out there. And he's like, Matt, we should really do a challenge coin. And I was like, okay, cool, give me a week. And so like a week later, I came with a proof, and I said, hey, here's the challenge coin. It's going to cost like $3,000 for, I don't remember how many coins it was. I think it was like 200 or 300. And so we were, that first day at Rockstars, I was like, man, no, it was the second day when Will Grimes got on, and I was like,
and everybody's crying.
yeah. And I was like,
so intense. The dude's so intense.
It-
He was supposed to be back this year. He had to cancel last second.
he was up there. I was like, you know what? I have a challenge cleaner on my truck. I'm gonna go get him one. Which then in turn, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of veterans in here because he had us all stand up. And so I called back to Emilio and Jimmy and had them like scrounge all the coins that we had, and to where we had enough for everybody. And so it was very emotional because like that community is just
Yeah.
It's special. What a fun little idea. Here's your poker chip. You're Central Texas.
He's gotten a lot of clients from those poker chips.
because people don't throw them away. They keep them on their desk. They keep them in their car, their purses, at their home.
Smart.
Yeah.
It's so smart. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're on social media a lot.
I love social media.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were in Iraq, but I've been kind of out of the loop for the
Yeah, I
past
didn't
like
know that
week or
either. I
so
didn't
on
know.
social media. So
That's all right. Like, it's funny, right? If you missed the one story, like, I'm not going to hit it very long, but
Yeah.
it was my the only car I've ever paid off and was like, I'm going to keep this thing forever because it gets better every year and it drives itself. And
Yeah.
like, usually I'd never even pay off a car. I'd get a new one. Okay, I ever paid off, I'm going to keep. And I left a foreclosure that we had just had to like do. I brought the interns up to this house we had just done an eviction on. And I was like thinking, we're going to go up and I'm going to show them what an eviction is like. Well, the people had moved their stuff out. And the constable's like, you got to move all their stuff to the street. So I look over at the two interns and I'm like, we got to move all this stuff out in the next hour. 100 degrees, no AC in the house. The most disgusting thing ever.
Oh.
And I was kind of sick. And we move everything out. And these are interns, like young guy.
the guys in the office,
Yeah.
those guys, they're
Right.
so
Oh,
cool.
man.
We move everything out of there. And so after an hour and a half, we're like, we did it. And the constable's like, I can't believe you guys did that. Disgusting. I can't even imagine. I have a video that's going to go live about it. We high five. It's great. Long day. I'm like, now I'm going to go to a closing because I'm an hour late to a closing to go sign. I go pull up at the stop sign. And while I'm parked at the stoplight, boom. Just like T-bone.
Dang. So totaled your car,
Told my car.
but didn't hurt you.
No, like that's why I was at the doctor just now. Like that's why I was late to this thing. But anyway, social media. Let's talk more about that. So I'm on social media a lot.
You're on social media. How does that generate clients for you? You know,
It generates a lot of stuff.
it generates a lot of
It
stuff.
generates like legit real friendships out of nowhere.
Okay.
Which is baffling and wild.
Yeah.
Like baffling and wild. I will start chatting with people on there. We will have something in common. We will like just connect, and we eventually meet, and like we become friends. Like so, I think social media is fantastic. I get people that want to invest in my businesses. I get people that want to I definitely get clients. I think social media can bring anything. I run like a surf club, right? And we've got hundreds of people on the wait list right now to join I go surfing every day at 6 a.m. I teach people how to surf. And I've got hundreds of people on the wait list just from social media. From that. But social media, like it is, I definitely can make money from it. I definitely get business from it. But I do it because I'm passionate about it and it's fun.
Okay.
I love social media. But I think that's what makes some of the stuff tick. And so I think I've been really successful at it without trying to make it be a moneymaker.
Okay.
Yeah, you're very like just turn the camera on and start talking.
Yeah.
You're never
Yeah.
it's
It's
super polished stuff. Yeah.
Are you guys still doing the prefab homes down here?
We are right across the street.
Right across the street? Okay, right down here.
Yeah.
Right.
You just go where you can see them out the window from the office over here.
Cool.
That business has been challenging. It was when I started that, it was one of the reasons it's challenging now. When I started it, there wasn't a good opportunity for me to make money in this market.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I'm going to do that. We had a lot of trouble with the manufacturers sending us enough houses. Like we paid for all the houses and we haven't received them all. We were supposed to receive them all 18 months ago and we haven't. So that has made a 1-year project turn into 3 years. So that has created a challenge with interest, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, now in the last 6 months, the foreclosure market is a screaming deal now. And so now I'm back to flipping houses, and I can make $40,000 flipping a foreclosure.
Yeah.
Or I can make $40,000 building $1 million house.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'd rather just flip these foreclosures. Like I wish I was done with this project.
A lot less trouble.
But at the time I needed it. I bet on it. It's a big bet. I think I know a lot more about it than most people now. But it was that when it works out well and you got a good manufacturer and delivers, it's amazing. You can go land to CFO in 120 days. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
But we've also had some where you learned there's also some stuff what not to do.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I started working with. I think I talked with your realtor. I don't know if he still works for you. Was it 25? Trevor.
Yeah.
I talked to Trevor about it, and he kind of clued me in on a couple things, and then earlier this year, I had an opportunity to work with one of the manufactured home companies up in Temple.
Yeah.
And I probably had several different conversations with the GM there, and now I'm just like their go-to like land guy. Like they're like, hey, we need you to find land for this client, you know.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what a brilliant thing, right? Because
Yeah.
there was a lot of because there are some great manufactured home companies up there
Yeah.
in Temple.
Yeah.
Like and having that happen where it makes sense. You get a
Yeah.
partnership like that where somebody comes in, they go, we want a house, and they're like, oh, but you need land, and so they pick out the house, and they're like, okay, I'm sure they come in and say this client can afford X
Yeah.
dollars in land. They got $50,000 for a lot. That you put it on, go find one.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and like I've passed off some of those to Jennifer and some of the other people that we work with because I'm like, dude, I'm super busy, but Kyla's reaching out to him or Jennifer's reaching out to him.
Yeah.
Here's her number in case you need something, and
Yeah.
I think this stuff is brilliant. It's I think a lot of manufactured housing used to get I think bad rap, I guess. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in general of like, no, I'm not gonna go live in a trailer, and it's like it's not that. Like there's some you can buy a house and you can spend $1,000 a square foot to live in it, or you can build a house and spend $200 a foot to live in it. Depends on where you live and what the quality is.
Yep.
And I grew up working for my dad, and he built the highest end custom homes.
Yeah.
They would like tear down walls and put them back up if they were off by half an inch.
Oh, wow.
Type thing, but it was super, super expensive. The reason I loved getting into home building when I went to college, and that's who I thought I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And I went to college and I met these guys that were the production builders that could build a house that was 90% as good for 80% less cost. Right? And that's when I was like, this is magical. Right? And so I think all levels of housing are like that. I think you can get manufactured the same way. It's like, so now you're getting 60% of the quality, or 70% of the quality, but you're getting it for 20th of the cost. Like people need homes, and you see what they're doing, but that's cool. But yeah, Trevor knows a lot about it, and
yeah.
that's
So
good.
he kind of put me down that path a little bit, but I thought it was super cool doing it down here because it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So I've got one project that's north of here that we've got all 11 houses on. If you went by there today, they are wrapping up. We're gonna get 11 certificates of occupancy in the next week and a half, and that one's gonna go from even 4 months ago when there was. So when you guys came for Rockstars, we're setting the last houses there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and so now that neighborhood's done. And so it'll be the first one that I've finished from beginning to end. Where now it's just done.
Now, are they all sold already, or
Some of them are sold, some of them aren't. Like what we also learned was so it used to be in home building days, you could build out of a model, and there was 100 lots out here, and people would buy, even though it was a construction neighborhood. But when the market slows down, people don't want to live in a construction neighborhood.
Yeah.
So what we've learned is if we wanted to sell them pre-finished, we'd have to drop the price a lot. But now the construction's done and there's no cranes coming anymore. Now we can start selling more of them. So we did pre-sell some, but the pre-sales were a lot cheaper than what they are now.
shoot me the addresses. I'd like to come down and do like a tour on my other YouTube channel.
Yeah, you would be fascinated by what we have one over there now, especially.
What's the reception of the consumer been on those?
They don't know their mods.
Okay.
Like there's no way to know. It doesn't say on the building permit because So difference between manufactured housing and modular housing. Manufactured will say it's manufactured. It's only allowed in certain spots. Modular is built the exact same way as a regular home, just built somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you have to use the same drywall. You have to use the same framing. You have to use the same hold downs. All of it. It's a method of construction, not a product. So a manufactured home is a slightly different product sometimes.
Yeah.
Right, but a modular is the same exact product, just built. Just the method of construction is what changes. And so now some people might notice, or the people who live in the neighborhood, they know it's modular because they saw us put together with cranes. But in general, the perception hasn't been. There has been no real perception.
Okay.
Most people are fascinated by it. When you see a house that's been that's up in the air, 100 feet up in the air by a crane, it's pretty freaking cool. You see them getting lifted over trees and assembled together. It is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You got a big old list of things over there, dude.
We're pretty much done with the whole list.
Yeah,
you were so prepared.
We try to be. In the beginning, we sat down and chatted about this because I have my other YouTube channel, and it's scripted heavily. Like I go in, use ChatGPT, Claude, Manus, and a couple other things to generate these scripts for me, so that way I can stay on topic because I would tangent the hell out of everything. And
You're a newscaster.
yeah, and so when we sat down and we started talking about building this, and Jennifer was like, I don't want it to be scripted. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's just do talking points. Let's come up with an idea for a episode and then just have talking points. And then just talk through everything. And I think that's so far why we've been able to hit I think we're over an hour now.
Podcasts are way easier just to
Yeah.
script. If somebody's boring, it goes quicker. But did you see I was on CNN the other day?
No.
All right, Mister should be looking more at my social media.
Yeah, no
Okay,
shit.
This was crazy. So and maybe it's our good last story.
Yeah.
But like 2-3 days ago, at like 10 in the morning, I get a call, and most of the time I don't answer, and I answer. I'm so busy. I'm like fixing up my house because I'm selling my personal residence myself. I got 4 kids that live there. I've got dogs. I'm like, you guys clean over here. We're doing this. It's horrible to sell your own house while it's occupied because it's like, kids, take the dogs down the street. Like clean up a little bit. Like hide all your stuff in your closets. And then sometimes they walk in like, no, it's not for us. I'm like, we just spent 3 hours cleaning this house. So
Right.
Get out of here. So while I'm in the middle of all that, I get a call, and I don't recognize it, and I answer it. I don't know why I answer it. And the lady goes, hey, so-and-so, I'm a producer at CNN. I'm like, cool. She's like, we're doing this piece on this. Zillow just came out with an article. I also emailed like 3 different email addresses I have for you. You didn't reply yet, though. And I want to see this. Would you be interested in coming on our show? We need an expert to talk about this. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, when is it? She's like, it's in an hour and a half.
Oh, God.
Then I'm like at my house and I'm about to do the showing, and she's like, but you're a podcaster and you have the equipment and you have the lighting and everything, so I'm just hoping you're gonna do it. Like,
Oh
she was
my God. No pressure.
essentially she was like, but we're CNN, right? So you're gonna do it. You're gonna say yes. She's like, you're gonna say yes. I was like, well, what's your backup plan? She's like, no, you're gonna do it. But you got an hour and a half, and I was like, whoa. And did it. But like right after I got into the office, and it was like setting up all my lighting, setting up my cameras, and trying to rehook up everything. And I tell you what, I don't get nervous when I do podcasts. I don't get nervous when I do that or when you're doing a YouTube channel and you can actually read the thing. But when that was going on, as I was like the amount of like ums and uhs. After
Did they preface it with any, like, did you know anything?
They sent me an article and said they want your opinion. So the article was, hey, there's these 126 houses in the U.S. where a starter home costs $1 million. It was like American nightmare. And it was like, what's your opinion on that? And I said, well, first of all, starter home has changed, right?
Yeah.
Like the people's perception of a starter home is it used to be like buy a house in a crappy neighborhood, build equity over time. And now people's idea of a starter home is they want an amazing house. There's plenty of houses that are cheaper, smaller in those, but they're saying no, but a true starter home, it's not that the cheapest house in that area is $1 million, but the cheapest house that like people want is $1 million, right? And so it was that, and I said, and it's also like, it's the American dream, not the American promise type stuff. Like like not everybody's entitled to get a starter home in every neighborhood, right? Like and they said, well, what does someone do? I'm like, well, they're like, well, how are people going to afford it? And one of the places they picked out was was like Westlake, Austin. And I said, well, where a 2,000 square foot house in Westlake starts at 1.3 million, you could drive 15 miles south, and a 2,000 square foot house built the same year starts at 265,000.
Yeah.
Right. So like you just move 15 miles.
Yeah.
You just have a 15-minute commute, and that's how you do it. And they didn't necessarily like that answer, but it was super fun and exciting. But I don't even know why I spun over to that, but I think that was like a power of social media. That was something, and all of a sudden I'm on CNN.
So that's how they found you, was your social media.
And my mom's calling me all proud. She's like, my son was on CNN. She's telling all her friends. She's sending me pictures. It was super cool.
All the things you've done, and that
people in my office were like, while I was recording it live, they're like watching it on the TV in their video. They're like, this is crazy. It's on CNN.
Did they get a video of it? Like you on TV and then you in the room?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
It was fun.
We're trying to go to Paris to do the podcast.
Yeah, we're trying to do
goal.
Paris next year in June, July for the podcast.
We don't care when. We're just going.
It's great. Like you just got to come up with a thing. Like do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I've already priced everything out, so it's doable.
I did a traveling podcast where I spoke at Nicole's brokers event in Roseville, and I brought this setup.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed every one of their guests afterward. So all of their speakers. So I had a podcast room that when their speakers were done speaking on stage, they'd come in and I'd interview them.
That's a great idea.
We should do that next year at Rockstar.
Yeah.
We should totally do that.
Yeah.
You did it in 25. There was a podcast there. Maybe it was. Yeah, it was 25, right?
Yeah, I've done where I've recorded podcasts live on site. Like I've done several. I mean, we end up sharing all the recordings of now, but events are a good way to get a lot of podcast stuff.
That's a great
because
idea.
people are like, I want to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we've had willing guests for the most part.
Yeah.
Today you made it easy. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm late. You're like, I'm coming to your office. I'm like, I'm running late. You're like, fine, we'll be here.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
And your office is awesome. This is such a cool spot.
Yeah, we could be. Your son should have been out by the pool.
Yeah, no kidding.
He asked. He's like, is that a pool out there I can get in? I was like, no. No, you can't.
You can go work out though.
Well, we should have chatted about that. He could have totally gone and gotten that. He could have been barbecuing and watching TV out there. I won't tell him too loud, or he can go jump in before you leave if you want.
What's your favorite app?
Any app, not just real estate related.
Yeah.
Just
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah. If I was going to look at my phone for what I'm on, you know what? Let's see. But I think it's apps. I'm not going to waste more time. I'm sure that my history is going to say Instagram, TikTok are my two mostly used apps.
Yeah.
I try not to email from my phone. I only have one of my emails accessible from my phone because I think that it's way more practical for me to wait till I'm at a computer.
Yeah.
And do it. So I used to try to do all this, but like in one of my like years where I was trying to get more efficient, I realized like I could spend an hour emailing from my phone, or I could just like enjoy whatever I'm doing for an hour, and get on a computer and do just as many replies in 8 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I only have my work email, so that way if something comes up, it's in front of me.
If there's an emergency, I can access it, but I like don't try to.
Yeah.
And I try to have it. So my favorite app, I'm sure it's Instagram. I love all forms of social media, and that seems to be my.
Yeah.
That's when I know I'm really busy, because if I haven't logged in a day or two, that means I really had a bunch of stuff.
That's the way it's been for the past 2.5 weeks for me. Just
That's why you missed the rec.
yeah.
And CNN.
Because normally I'm like, I'll religiously look at your stories, or as I'm scrolling through.
I listen to them too.
So you and a couple other people.
Right. When you didn't call me because I was on CNN, I was shocked. So that,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I mean, it was only a 24-hour post. So.
Yeah. What's your favorite podcast besides ours?
And yours.
Besides yours, besides mine, the only other one I listen to right now is the All In podcast.
All In? I'm going to
All
write
In.
that one down.
Okay.
It's really interesting. They started it during COVID. It's these guys that were really successful. He was one of the early investors in Facebook, and David Sachs, and so just these guys are these incredible like entrepreneurs. They started during COVID, like during their poker games. They're like, let's just record our poker game stuff. It took off. One of them is now working in the White House. Like they were so David Sachs sort of like was part of like PayPal with Elon.
Okay.
So like he was like, so he knew Elon from early on, and so they talk about stuff that I'm interested in. They talk about AI, they talk about business, talk about SpaceX, talk about politics. You know, they get to interview a bunch of cool people on there. So that is the one that if I want to get like a different perspective on some issues that I think are important from like some really smart guys. They also argue like there's a couple of them are Republicans, a couple of them aren't. So they are, you know, a couple of them love Trump, a couple of them hate Trump. So their conversations are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to check that one out.
Most influential book.
The two that changed my life will always be the same. 2009, 2012, I was making millions of dollars. 2012, I got put out of business. Yeah. And I was super sad and how could I let my family down and all those things. The two books changed my life was The 4-Hour Work Week and The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Miracle Morning is by Hal Elrod. And what's so wild is I met Hal a couple of years later. That was part of why I joined GoBundance. I spent like 2 or 3 Easters at his house with our families now.
Oh, cool.
And Tim Ferriss, I've met several times in town now. Like he lives in a building that I stayed at for a while.
It's there's been quite a few books over my life that have been super impactful, but here the past couple of years, Go for No.
Yeah, that's a big one for me too.
That one was a bit. Yeah. It was a heavy hitter for me, and then Mr. Schmooze. I don't know why, but Mr. Schmooze, I can, if I don't have anything else to listen to, I'll put that book on and listen all the way through. Yeah. It's
Go for No and Mr. Schmooze.
Yeah. I feel like Go for No is good for at any time though.
Anytime.
It is such a pick me up and like a boost anytime you pick it up.
Yeah. And then Mr. Schmooze is just about like taking everything to the next level.
Yeah.
And relationships, having those relationships and then like leveraging those relationships to get in rooms with Aaron.
People like Aaron.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I like it.
I think what's your dream investment property?
That's hard. Like dream investment property is like, it's almost like the, not get too far into it, but they talk about like properties that aren't pretty get high cash flow.
Okay.
Or there's like, so why would someone own a building that only returns 1% a year? And people have those ones that, you know, they call it like their flagship properties, but those are the ones they want to own so they can say they own it even though it's a bad investment.
Yeah.
So most like dream properties are actually bad investments. Somebody can say, I own that tower downtown and my name's on the side of it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a tower guy.
You're a tower guy?
I
Need a
think one of
tower.
these days I'm gonna have So I
Yeah.
want to build a tower downtown.
You're gonna have a Aaron tower.
Aaron
I
Tower.
also know how like wrong that is to have that be like this like ego thing that
tiny
says like
ego.
no, like why would you want to build a giant building of something that's a low return and low something that's like so I can have my name on the side
Yeah.
of it. So like I know that my ego is as like humble as I am and like I'll say I'm humble, I'm kind, super nice, I give my time on all sorts of, but I also have this ego issue.
Yeah.
That my ego gets the best of me lots of times.
Let's
Okay.
call it validation and not
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah, I like that. That makes me feel good.
Yeah,
most of my worst decisions ever were ego based. Like,
Yeah.
but also like part of why I'm successful is ego based. So
Right. I mean, there's a fine line, I'm sure. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to? Is there any shout outs or anything you want to do? We're kind of at the end.
Yeah, we're at the end.
no, I mean we advertised our real estate rock stars mastermind way more than we meant to or should have. Like that.
It's
I
just
feel like
such
that
a
was
good thing to
No, but
talk
it's-
about.
That's the only thing I would shout out, man. Like if people want to talk to me, I'd love to talk to them on social media. I'm
Yeah.
super legit with that. Like if there's somebody out there that thinks we should click, like reach out, let's chat. Like the
We'll put your Instagram handle
Yeah,
on
for sure.
in the description, and then we'll also throw the link into the to buy a ticket for Rockstars next year.
And I would be
Yeah.
so honored if anybody that hears this wants to join us at Rockstars
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
year. And like,
And you
why,
should.
why would they buy a ticket early? There's no financial incentive to buy a ticket early. We don't do discounts and stuff right now. Like again, we don't make money on
Yeah.
it, but it's like, but it does sell out every year. And so
Yeah.
is it going to sell out next month? No. But if you buy it today, like I will find you and I will see who you are. And I know the people that are supporting me early
Yeah.
because they don't
Yeah.
have to and they're doing it just to support. It means a lot to me.
And I think it's important that people know you're there every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
I'm in it.
You're in there. You're up on stage. You're talking.
I meet every person. I talk
Yes.
to every person.
Yeah.
I want to know their story. I want to be there. Like yeah.
Yeah.
I don't leave. It is not my event that I'm there and then I leave.
Yeah.
Like I'm.
You're not just the name on the event. Like you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So that's the best thing I can shout out. I'd love to have more people come join us at Real Estate Rockstars.
Do you have a cap on the number? Like, do you have a number? Or-
What I've done is essentially I will choose a spot based on like how many sales I have in July.
Okay.
So we've sold out, and then one year we booked a giant venue, and then that was going to be like double the size, and then we didn't sell out, and then it was like, oh, that was brutal.
And then this past year.
But then I had the year you guys came, we sold out, and we could have sold 30 extra tickets, so we kept like selling more and like moving tables, and it's like, so what I would love is to be able to like have a number and go like, all right, however many people want to go. I don't care if 60 people show up or 130. But I want to have it be where it's set, and I can go, cool, I'm not selling any more tickets. Now we can start working on content. Now we can start working on the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I probably like the perfect number. I think it's probably like 120. That's the biggest size we've ever done is about 120. We've done some that are smaller, but 120 is about the number that you can leave and you will actually have met everybody.
Yeah.
You'll have actually had a
And
conversation.
it doesn't
with
feel
everybody.
like it's that many people.
No.
How many
No.
were at this one this year?
90.
Okay. See, I had
Yeah.
no idea. I was thinking more like 50.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
It is cool how you just become
Yeah.
a community that quick.
It's great.
Yeah. We could talk about that.
Even the sponsors are like. The guys came and sponsored one time. They're like, we're in. We're like part of this. Like we're just gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna buy our tickets for next year.
So the strategy ninja people, they'll be back.
Yeah, they already bought their tickets.
What about Tony? Did Tony buy tickets? Tony G.
So Tony G has not bought one yet, but he swears that that he will come speak for me again next year. And he was actually like very cool. He is a really, really high ticket guy.
No, we hung out with them.
We
The
hung-
night after he talked,
No.
he hung out
Yeah.
with us. at
Harry-
Eagles.
Harry sang karaoke.
Yeah,
with
Harry
him.
and him sang
He was a
karaoke.
high ticket guy, and I didn't have to pay him.
Yeah.
Like because I try to explain to him, like when people come in, they talk about it, I'm like, I don't make money on this thing.
Yeah.
But I said, but you come speak here, you will change lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you will change somebody's life. Like this will be like, even though you get paid $25,000 to speak over here, you're gonna come here, you will change someone's life. It will be worth it, I promise.
And his book is fantastic too,
Yeah.
that he gave us. So
he was
it
great.
was a great book.
He's a good dude.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love you guys. Glad you came down.
Thank
here.
you.
Hey,
Thank
no
you for
problem.
taking time for
It's
us.
been fun to see everybody's growth and
Yeah.
I got to learn more about you guys today too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it on this episode of the Next Move podcast. If you're looking to buy or sell in Central Texas, or you want to talk about joining EXP, give us a holler. All of our info's down below in the description, and we'll throw all of Aaron's stuff to include the link to go register for Real Estate Rockstars for next
You
year.
got to be there.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks guys.